The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Lifeguard Imaging.
Coming up on Bloom, we'll tell you about the new trend of open relationships.
You both have to be on the same page, and if you have any insecurities at all, it's going to be a big magnifying glass on those insecurities, because at the end of the day, we're humans, we're primitive, we want to protect our mate, and we get jealous.
And how to build lasting friendships in adulthood. Plus, the Sicarian culinary power couple is making waves in the food scene. Margaret is joining us in the Bloom kitchen. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, a full hour dedicated to your health and wellness, so get ready to bloom. Today we're exploring how to make your relationships bloom, both platonic and intimate ones. We are even deep diving into relationship trends, like why more Americans think an open relationship might work. But first, important news about becoming your own healthcare advocate. Tampa is one of only 5 places in the country giving people unique access to innovative technology that can detect hundreds of different cancers and heart disease before it's too late. Joining me now from Lifeguard Imaging is the Vice President of Business Development, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and NFL great, Martine Gramatica. Martine, it's always so great to see you.
Good to see you, Gayle.
So exciting that we have this technology in Tampa Bay, saving 1 to 3 lives every day.
Yes, not only are we excited that we're in Tampa Bay, but also our new machine. We just put a new machine over the Christmas break that we're super excited. It's the greatest and latest, and now we're actually going to be able to give our patients even better images than we did in the past. Yeah,
and this is really exciting because the last generation of this machine you had was already giving like incredibly thin slices of imaging where you could get it down to almost like the point of a pencil, correct?
Correct. So now it's a 2mm shadow, which is the tip of a pen. But not only that, it's software updates all the time. And now with this new machine, we can update our machine even more and more. So it's going to be AI may be implemented. Some of it already is. So there's so much more capabilities that it has, where in it. Less time. So the other one was fast. This one's even a little bit faster, so it's even shorter. The patient sits on the table a little bit shorter than before.
And we're talking about health trends of 2024 a lot on Bloom, and a lot of doctors are getting behind this because this is preventative care.
Correct. Yes, that's one of the things I'm doing. I'm meeting with a lot of doctors. We're meeting a lot of doctors' offices. Just to let them know what we're doing, and a lot of them are embracing what we're doing because they're all about the prevention now. It wasn't something that was talked about in the past, but now I think everybody understands it, and luckily a lot of the local doctors are embracing what we're doing.
Yeah, I've had, even my doctor is so excited that I am part of Lifeguard Imaging's legacy program because I have a history of breast cancer in my family. My father passed away from prostate cancer. I mean, this is giving you an extra layer of protection because many times when you find out that you're sick, it's in the later stages of disease. Well,
a lot of times it's not even an extra layer, Gayle. It's the layer, because a full body scan, a hospital will not do a full body scan. They're only this reactionary medicine, which we have the best healthcare in the world, but they're only going to scan or look or treat when a patient has the symptoms, because we've been wired to go to the doctor when we don't feel good. Now patients can take their health into their own hands, and our scan will be able to detect, and anything that we detect, they take to their doctor, their specialist, whatever the case is, and now it can be treated, because we're here to diagnose and look and find things. Now their doctors will take over and treat it.
And the reason here on Bloom that we offer a free heart scan when you mention Gayle or Bloom, because it's our way of introducing you to Lifeguard Imaging. Then you have the opportunity to sit down and figure out how to expand the plan. And that's where a lot of people that come in for the free heart scan end up finding out that they might have something else going on inside their body that they would not have otherwise known of if they didn't sign up for the legacy program.
Absolutely, Gayle. The free heart scan, when there's no strings strings attached. When your patient comes in, they're coming in for the free heart scan. There's no extra charge. There's no reading fee. There's nothing. Now, they're going to meet with a patient advocate, and they're going to explain the other scans that we have, which are the full body scans. They're going to explain the legacy program, which you're part of with Mark. That's a 5-year evaluation, because a baseline scan is incredible and it's super important, but the follow-up scans usually become more important, because if anything were to develop between scan 1 and 2, we're going to catch it early. And by catching it that early, the patient has a better percent to survive it, but also with good quality of life. If we can avoid the chemo, the radiation, because we capture something early, that's worth every penny.
Yeah, it's worth so much that people fly in from around the world to take advantage of this technology.
It's incredible. We're getting calls from all over, scheduling appointments. I'm still shocked that I've had friends from Argentina come in. I saw your post on social media. I want to come in, or I see what you're doing now. I want to come in, and it's silly not to take advantage of it if it's in our own backyard. We have people from all over the world coming in to take advantage of this scan. Exciting
stuff. Thank you so much, Martine, for sharing the big news about the upgrade of the technology here on Bloom.
Oh, thank you, Gayle.
All right, call today, right now, 813-582-5222, or visit lifeguardimaging.com. You'll receive a Bloom special offer, a free heart scan when you mention Gayle or Bloom. That's a $599 value, so call today, 813-582-5222 for this special offer. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Lifeguard Imaging.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. A majority of Americans, around 55%, prefer complete monogamy in their relationships. But a YouGov poll found 1/3 of Americans describe their ideal relationship as something other than complete monogamy. Joining me now is psychotherapist and sex therapist Dr. Gina Midyet, who specializes in couples therapy. It is great to have you back on Bloom.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I was a little bit shocked to hear that 1/3 of Americans are open to open relationships.
Right. When I heard the percentage, the first thing I thought of was, okay, well, maybe they think that they can be in open relationships, but let's give that exact percentage and put them in that situation and go back and see if they agree after, let's say, a year of that.
Yeah, it is very interesting to think about. We had an author come on Bloom a while back ago, and she wrote a book, Open Monogamy, and I was trying to challenge her on whether this would work or not, and she said, you know, for many couples with infidelity rates where they are, having an agreement at the upstart is better than cheating behind someone's back. But both people need to be on the same page with this, and that's where I think there's probably some conflict.
There is. You both have to be on the same page, and if you have any insecurities at all, it's going to be a big magnifying glass on those insecurities, because at the end of the day, we're humans, we're primitive, and we are, we want to protect our mate, and we get jealous. So all those things are part of this agreement. Are you willing to do that and risk that?
Insecure, jealous, check the box, Gayle, check the box.
Yes.
This is not something I could wrap my head around, but it does work for people. So who's the ideal couple for this?
I think the ideal couple would be, these two people met, they both are very maybe free, creative, free-minded, free-spirited. I don't think that's the majority of our population. I have seen some people do it, but even those people, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's still issues, because where do you draw the line between, okay, this is an open relationship, this is our agreement, and now I'm cheating on you?
Yeah.
And that's hard to measure that.
And what if, like, to a couple have this understanding that they're going to have an open relationship, and then one is being more open than the other? Like, over time you would think the other person's like, I really don't want to be in relationships with somebody else. I want to be with you.
Right. And how do you really create a loving, committed relationship with somebody when here's the other risk too, when you're creating emotional connections with other people, because everyone thinks it's just a physical thing. it's very hard not to go into an emotional connection with somebody. So then you start feeling like I'm not loved, I'm not wanted. So one person is going to have more of the advantage than the other, like you said, and the balance is not going to be there.
So how do you address that as a couple? I mean, because I'm sure you deal with couples that go into this willingly, but step out of it kind of maybe harmed.
Yeah. So now you have trust issues, right? So now I'm dealing with a couple that has trust issues. So I think that if a couple goes into this and they're in an agreement and they think it's going to be great and fun, but now there's a problem, you go into therapy and now you need to readdress this. Is this going to work for us? The answer is usually no. So how do we now recommit to each other, change our values? Can we do that? Because now are we now craving to go out of our marriage again or out of our relationship?
Yeah.
So a lot of times these relationships aren't just going to work. The couple's going to have to break up.
And when we talk about open monogamy, we're talking about this is something that you do a lot, not just like, oh, maybe this person joins the fun for this. These are people that are trying to be in relationships with each other and other people.
Exactly. It's just a lot of work, you know. I would say
it does
that.
seem like, I'm glad you broke it down to what it really is.
Just
a
really
lot
say
of
it.
work, like, because I mean, a lot of people are just finding time to be intimate with their significant other, and then there's this whole subculture that wants to be intimate with their significant others and others.
Yes, and let's also bring up the topic of the world we live in now with social media and everything's so at your fingertips. So I think maybe that's why the percentage has gone up, because now with Facebook, Instagram, we're just getting all these likes, and I think people are craving more and more attention, more, oh, let me just have somebody else, because one person can't give you all that attention. So how do you, again, recommit to your partner and say, what do we value, and what's the longevity of this relationship really worth for me?
And maybe you really need to meet with somebody like yourself and just talk about, how to be fulfilled with just each other.
Right, because we're expecting our partner to fill this love bucket. That's impossible. We have to fill it with other things, with things for ourselves, with friendships. Just have an overall understanding that one person can't give us all this attention that we're hoping to receive from a bunch of other people.
Oh man, this is a really interesting subject. So let me just ask the takeaway, because you and I have been going kind of ping-ponging back and forth. As a professional, you're saying that you see this not work more than you see it work.
Yep, I've been a therapist for almost 20 years, and I've seen a lot of couples, and I will tell you, it does not work. It does not work. There's too much jealousy, too much insecurities, and it's just very complicated.
All right. Dr. Gina Mignette, as always, I enjoy our conversations. I hope you come back, but this was a really good one.
Thank you so
much. All right,
much.
Absolutely. We're going to share Dr. Mignette's advice on BloomTampaBay.com. And when we come back, we're checking out Bloom Tampa Bay's digital reporter and producer Brody Waddell's article, Creating Connections, How to Build Lasting Friendships in Adulthood. And licensed clinical psychologist Dr. Carlos Garcia is joining in on the conversation. So don't go anywhere. Bloom will be right back. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. Making your relationships bloom doesn't mean just romantic ones. Friendships are extremely important too. And my friend here, Brody Waddell, who's the digital reporter and producer for Bloom Tampa Bay, is out with a really interesting article.
That's right, Gayle. I got the idea to write this new article called Creating Connections, How to Build Lasting Friendships in Adulthood, after I talked to a good friend of mine who told me she was struggling with making friends.
And we are excited to welcome clinical psychologist Dr. Carlos Garcia, who is going to weigh in on Brody's article and share his advice on making friends later in life. Welcome. We're so glad you joined the conversation.
It's an honor to be here. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year. So first, let me start off, we actually collaborated a little bit on this article. Thank you for your insights. Absolutely. But this is so funny. I was actually, when I was researching this a little bit, I found a post on Reddit that talked about the PI method, which is positivity, interest, and enthusiasm. What do you think about that for a friendship?
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. I like that first, right, the P in positivity. I was just talking to somebody earlier, my assistant, who was talking about her sister making friends. And she's like, well, I don't want to do that. That's a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of hard work. And I was like, well, if that's the attitude you're going into it with it probably paints a picture about the kind of people you're going to meet, right? But also showing interest, Brody. I think that's really important, right? A lot of times, I think one of the really good ways to meet people is to show a sort of a common interest, and people love to talk about themselves. So showing interest in somebody else is definitely going to put you high up there on that ability to meet somebody. And enthusiasm, again, if really you're approaching this, meeting friends in adulthood from this kind of negative place, then again, it might color the kind of people you meet at some point.
I will say, just from a personal perspective, because given the nature of what I was doing before I started hosting Bloom, I was getting up at 1:30 in the morning. I was apprehensive to try to make plans with people because I didn't know if I'd feel good enough or be awake enough to be, a participant in friendship. I had 4 kids. It was just, so I had some hardcore, diehard friends that I've had since, college, childhood, but I didn't have a lot of friends because I just didn't have the time to cultivate them. So now later in life, I am making new friends in adulthood, and I'm glad at least I've met a couple of ladies that are so wonderful, because there are people that are like, I already have enough friends. I don't need to make any new friends. I've heard that again and again, and I'm like, oh no, I hate that approach, because it can be intimidating to try to make new friends and find a place in someone's life later in life.
Absolutely. There's kind of 2 things I want to say to that. I heard this really brilliant sort of analogy many years ago, and it was about looking at our relationships as sort of a bullseye. And on the outer layers of that bullseye are people that we might see day to day and say hello. And then on the inner layers, maybe we are acquaintances, people we talk to often. And then as we get closer in, those are those intimate people. In that inner circle might be 2 or 3 friends that are really sort of close. And that over time, people might move in and out of those rings, and that's okay, right? Because we do get busy, and our lives change, and our values change, and our beliefs change, so we don't have to be so rigid. The other thing I would say is that, we can have different types of relationships that fulfill different aspects of our life, right? And so sometimes having a really close friend who we can maybe divulge those deeper secrets to might be enough, right? We don't need multiple people in that sort of realm to be able to share all of those things. So having a little bit more flexibility in what those relationships look like is important. Another thing I'll say about that, and this is something that I've been able to really notice later on in life, I have a handful of friends that are very flexible. Meaning, if we set plans and something comes up and I'm not able to make it, or we scheduled a call and one of us is not able to make it, it's okay. No worries, everything is fine. And it doesn't affect the relationship in any way. So when we have more of that flexibility and we're not so rigid in our expectations of how people have to show up for us, it allows the relationship to flourish because it doesn't feel tense. It doesn't feel like you have to, it doesn't feel so energy draining.
Right. I wanted to ask you, Doctor, I find this interesting. What are your thoughts on sort of the differences in between how men versus women make and maintain friendships? Because I feel like when I heard my complaints about not making friends, it was actually from my lady friends.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm probably going to speak to some generalizations and some biases here, but for the most part, it is true that men tend to want to have relationships that revolve more around activity, right? We're probably not going to sit around a fire with a mug of hot chocolate and talk about our feelings. I mean, that is a reality, right? That has a lot to do with the narrative that men don't show feelings and all of that, and so it's tough for some of us. And that women really want to bond more often around things that feel more personal, more emotional in nature, and want to have those deeper connections. That's what they highly value. So I think for men, sometimes it might be easier to make friends because, hey, let's go watch a game, let's have a beer, and we're really not going to open up about a lot of stuff. We don't put a lot of expectations on each other for how we're going to show up, where sometimes it can feel a little bit more challenging because anytime you're embarking on a relationship where more vulnerability is necessary, you tend to want to be a little bit more careful about what you share and how you share it. So I think that's one of the ways that there can be a little bit of a difference there.
Interesting.
We don't have a ton of time left, but I wanted to eke in one more question. And it's a personal one. My husband is my best friend. I mean, he is by far my best friend. But I think we're both now trying to understand that making time for friends of same sex and getting out and doing things is important for your relationship.
Totally. Yeah, I think when you know, as human beings, we just have a lot of, I would say, needs, right? Whether it's for friendships, colleague relationships, love relationships. And if we fall into a place where we're expecting our romantic partner, our spouse, to meet all of those needs, then it can be a lot of pressure for them. So I think allowing ourselves to have these outside relationships takes pressure from the intimate relationship and allows us to kind of really show up for each other in a much more beautiful way.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Carlos. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to post this conversation on bloomtampabay.com.
And we'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Premier Community Healthcare Group.
Welcome back to Bloom. Keeping our kids healthy is so important, and Premier Community Healthcare Group in Tampa Bay provides care to any families in need. I recently had a chance to visit one of their newest facilities, helping to improve access to public health in the area locally. I'm at Premier Community Healthcare Group in Zephyr Hills with pediatrician Dr. Maria Valencia Serafini. Doctor, thanks for having me out. The new facility is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for coming here. We really appreciate having you here.
So this location was built from the ground up. It's brand new.
Yes, it was built in June, so we've been here for about 6 months, and this is one of our 15 locations that we have throughout Pasco and Hernando County.
And folks here are so lucky to have this place to come to. Why Community Healthcare Group?
So why community healthcare? Because we're here to serve everybody. So no patient gets turned down. We're here for everybody, starting from women who are pregnant, seeing children in the pediatric department, and also family practice for the older adults.
So this is for uninsured or underinsured?
Exactly. Uninsured, insured, underinsured, for everybody here.
What would you say are some of the barriers that keep people from getting the health care that they need?
I think the biggest barrier at this time right now is just lack of insurance for a lot of patients. So we do serve, like I said, everybody. One of them would be insurance, another one would be distance. Sometimes patients can't travel, or some places are a little bit too far for them. They can't get an appointment, so we're here to address that barrier. Another one is also language. Some patients don't speak English, unfortunately, so we are here again to help with that. We do have providers that speak other languages, so we're again trying to, help everybody around the community.
I know we're in the brand new, beautiful pediatric area, but you offer so many services to your patients.
We actually do. We have everything from head to toe. So we have family practice here. We have OBGYN, which cares for the women. We have pediatrics. We also have podiatry. We have behavioral health for adolescents, for mental health for women as well. We also have our dental mobile clinics, which go to schools to care for those young kids with dental hygiene. We also have our pharmacy on site, one here in Zephyr Hills, and we're actually opening our second pharmacy in West Pasco County.
And what's so cool being here is I actually had the opportunity to see the staff and doctors interacting with patients. And I think a lot of times, if you can bridge that divide and make people not feel intimidated to go to the doctors, it seems so welcoming here.
We do. We try to make all our patients feel welcome here, that they are part of our community, that they are part of our family. And again, we want to offer that comprehensive quality care to all families here in the area.
And if you're busy and you're working, it almost seems like it's one-stop shopping, because I can remember back in the day when mine were little, to be able to come for everything at one location is pretty incredible.
Yes, and that is very important for us, that patients are able to do 2 for 1 pretty much, being able to see their pediatrician and also get that dental exam done.
And the preventative care, if you have access to good health care, you're going to offset a lot of problems down the road.
Correct. So we are trying to prevent chronic medical problems later on the road.
And that would include even something like nutrition with the kids.
Yes. And we do have community health care workers that help set up patients with any kind of resources in the community that we can offer.
Well, doctor, I'm so glad I had the opportunity to come out here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
It really is incredible what they're doing there. Visit premierhc.org to schedule an appointment, donate, or volunteer. You can also follow their Facebook page to learn more about their work in the community. And Premier Community Healthcare proudly provides affordable health care, including COVID-19 and CDC recommended immunizations and vaccination. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Premier Community Healthcare Group.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. A Tampa power couple is elevating the food scene nationwide. Culinary maestro and celebrated restaurateur Jeffrey Zakarian and his wife Margaret, the president of Zakarian Hospitality, are bringing families together with even a cookbook, The Family That Cooks Together. Joining me now is Margaret Zakarian. It is so great to see you.
Hi, Gail. Thanks for having me to Bloom.
Absolutely.
So good to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. And you guys have so many exciting things going on, including a line of cookware.
Yes, so this is our stainless non-stick cookware that comes in a variety of sizes, and I just love cooking with it. It's on our stovetop all day, all meals. I'm using it because I don't like to clean. And so it's just so easy, and it's super healthy because you don't have to use as much, you know, butter or oil. So yeah, so our stainless nonstick is like my favorite tools in the kitchen right now.
I love it. So we're going to cook with it today, and, and the best thing is some breakfast foods, because that's where I'm always finding myself scrubbing, so we don't need to do that.
Okay, good. So we're going to make an oat milk skillet pancake.
Okay, great.
It's perfect if you have a crowd, so I'll help you help me if
okay,
you're,
all
if
right.
you're game. So you can just go ahead and put some eggs.
Do I just add them in, or do I have to beat them?
Dump them in. Nope,
okay.
Just dump them in. And this is oat milk.
All right.
Now you could use almond milk if you don't have oat, or regular milk if you want.
Okay.
So this is oat, and this is vanilla. So just go ahead and dump in there. You can give it a little stir.
Okay. And I love oat milk. It's so close to like regular, so if you can't tolerate dairy, which I cannot,
it's perfect.
This is the perfect.
And then this is some gluten-free flour. So anyone that's avoiding gluten, you really can't tell the difference. Like the varieties today are so easy and delicious. This is some sugar. We won't, tell how unhealthy that is. That's okay. This is clove. So clove has like a really warm kind of aroma to it. If you don't have clove, you can use cinnamon. That works too. Oh, and some salt.
Smells good.
That's good. You're going to end up with
that.
Voila. So in order to finish off this recipe, you're going to put this in the fridge to chill for about 10-15 minutes. And while that's chilling, you're going to heat your pan for 10 to 15 minutes.
All right.
So it gives you a chance to clean up at home. But once it's hot, you're just going to add some oil, give it a little swirl around, and then you're just going to, just like this, put it right in the pan.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I mean, how easy is this?
Oh, that's great.
Super, super easy.
I thought you were going to make me make the rounds.
No.
But this is awesome.
Nope, that's it. And then I am going to put it in the oven. Bakes for about 15 minutes. You can just keep an eye on it. It acts a little bit like a Dutch baby, if you've ever made a Dutch baby.
I have not.
And this is what you get.
This is incredible.
So if you're having a crowd, it's an easy way to make breakfast or brunch and just let it, let's get my spatula here. I'm going to, here
there
we
it
go.
comes.
Here we go.
There it goes. Oh, how cool is that?
Look at that. It's completely like
You just took the work out of my Sunday mornings, because I always on Sundays make pancakes for everyone.
Then you can just do this.
And we have a full house. Yeah.
One big. Okay. So now this is a great way, an alternative to whipped cream. You're going to take the liquid from a can of chickpeas. Have you ever done that? So it acts just like an egg white. So any liquid from a can of beans works. Chickpeas, cannellini beans, whatever you have. When you don't dump it down the drain, just save it. And when you want to make a whipped cream, you can do that. So it's the aquafaba, which is the liquid, sugar, vanilla, and cream of tartar. So just like you were making regular whipped cream,
and aquafaba is the bean juice.
Is the bean juice.
All right.
There you go. So you've got your healthy whipped cream.
Yeah, I love it.
We'll give a little powdered sugar. You don't have to put the powdered sugar, but it looks pretty.
Ah, look how nice that is.
It looks pretty. And then we can put a few raspberries on top. We'll just make it look delicious and colorful.
I love this.
There we go. Would you like to taste it?
Yes, I would love to.
Let's cut this up. So what were you making over the holidays?
Well, this is the one holiday that we celebrated on vacation, which was nice. Others did the cooking for me. But typically I do a lot of egg casseroles, but this is a great add-on really to any, because I almost make like Sunday like a brunch day for the family.
Just put it out. And
let everybody just kind of dig in.
Yeah, I'll give you a few more raspberries here. And then look how nice this
This is beautiful.
And it's totally guilt-free, Gayle.
I love it. You can't beat it.
There we go.
And it checks all the boxes because I'm doing gluten-free. I'm,
Okay,
I'm doing dairy-free. So
it makes you feel so much better.
It does. So
after you eat something like that, you can indulge, but it's not like heavy in your,
It's great.
Good,
I
good.
love it. and I'm surprised that the you would think fava bean juice or any kind of bean juice.
It works perfect.
But it tastes amazing.
And I think it works a little bit easier than the cream coconut. Like a coconut milk, you can whip the same. That's a little more finicky. The aquafaba works like a charm.
I absolutely. So do you make a lot of like tweaks in your recipes? Because I know your daughter's now on her second cookbook. You guys have a lot going on.
Yes. So we're always tinkering at home.
Yeah.
We're always tinkering. But I try to eat gluten-free and dairy-free. So, and my husband has been a great resource too. So it's really science, right? Cooking is science. So you just need you need liquid, you need dry. So if you want to substitute the dairy, you just find something liquid that's equally, reacts with the dry ingredients just the same. So that's why oat, almond, coconut, whatever you have, it's easy. Just swap it out. And so if you think of it like that, like I need to substitute a wet, I need to substitute a dry, it works.
I love it. I love it. And your whole concept is to make cooking a family affair, because I think it really has evolved in that, especially since the pandemic. We are cooking all the time at home now.
All the time, and it's just a little bit easier to control, right? If you're looking to make changes in your lifestyle or the way you're eating, if you're cooking it, it works, that much better.
Yeah, because you're controlling the narrative on the ingredients and it's making it healthy. Well, I got to tell you, this is absolutely amazing. You have to try this recipe at home. We're going to post it for you on bloomtampabay.com. As always, Margaret, thank you for joining us on Bloom.
So great to be here.
All right, we'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Living the Tampa Bay lifestyle means enjoying the sand, sun, and outdoors fun. So get out, get active, and nurture those healthy habits. Hey there, I'm Gayle Guyardo, host of Bloom. Now there's a new all-inclusive place with everything you need to shape your lifestyle, boost your health, and improve your wellness. BloomTampaBay.com, Tampa Bay's premier health and wellness website, made to help you feel good. Whether you're a fitness fanatic, beauty buff, or just want to take your first step towards positive change, this free website is for you. See the Bay Area's hottest fitness products, the latest workout crazes, and learn nutrition tips from the experts. Plus, discover local events and experiences designed with your well-being in mind. Cultivate a healthy mind, body, and soul. Check out BloomTampaBay.com, your local health and wellness website. That's BloomTampaBay.com. We are back and working to help your relationships bloom, and that includes with our kids. Joining me now with how to nurture the parent-teen relationship is teen life coach Desiree Panlilio. It's so great to see you.
It's so great to be here, Gayle. I always enjoy being here.
So I love that we're talking about nurturing the teen-parent relationship, because when they're little, they love being around you and they want to be around their mom and dad, but as they get older, rightfully so, they're trying to find their independence. So how do we make that relationship work?
The biggest thing, and my favorite topic, Gayle, is communication, right? Take the time to communicate with your teen. Talk to them about what they're interested in. That is the biggest thing. I think as they become teenagers, we start to think, oh, their music isn't, really cool, or this isn't cool, or watching YouTube, TikTok, whatever they're doing. Take interest in what your teen is doing. Take that time to pause and listen to what they're really interested in. What do they want to talk about? Don't try and drive the conversation. Try to be part of their life and understand what they're going through.
So you're saying go a little bit deeper than, so how was your day at school? Tell me something new you learned today.
Exactly, because that gets old, right? That's really great when they're in elementary school, right? They want to tell you that they learned, a new color or something. In high school, they really don't want to talk about school. They're just trying to get through it. They're like, I just want to be a senior. I just want to move on. So my thing is, ask them about their music. Ask them about their sports. Ask them about their favorite sports team. What do they want to do? What are their friends doing? And not to be nosy, but if they're going out, go, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? That's cool. What about that? Tell me more about it. And focus more on those other things, those personal parts of their life versus that academic, because we can hone in on that as parents, and that destroys the relationship.
And I will tell you, as a parent who loves to get all the tea from my teenagers, you actually do learn a lot from the world that they live in, because the divide is a lot bigger than you might think. I mean, from music trends to even, like, I was talking to my daughter about how she gets so much advice from this YouTube guy, the organic chemist. And I'm like, I didn't even know this guy was out there. And then I started researching him, and it was fascinating to me what they know and what they have at their fingertips.
It is. Our teens are amazing, way more amazing than we were when we were teens, right? We're like, whoa, look at all that. And they know so much, and you really got to tap into that and appreciate that and trust them and have that, those relationships with them and those conversations. I love date night. I love just being able to have that time with my teen where it's just us and them sharing anything and everything about what's going on in their life.
And this, because the other thing that Desiree's big on is we got to spend time together. And you gave me a statistic that had me put a tear in my beer, and I don't even drink beer. And that's that the most time we spend with our kids is before the age of 18.
Yes. Yes. And I was just reading another study that really it comes out to once they leave and they go off to college and stuff, it's like one more year from the time they leave, high school and they go off to college. If you total up all the days, it's almost a year. I'm like, holy smokes, my kids came home for Christmas, my oldest, and I'm like, every minute that I could get with her, I was like, please be spending time with me. I don't even care what we talk about. You want me to take you shopping? I'm totally in.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they come home and they want to see their friends too, and you're like, wait, now I got to share you with a friend? So it's like, while you have these moments with your teen, cherish them with every cell in your body.
Exactly. Even cherish the bad moments. When they do something wrong and you're going to discipline them or you're going to have a discussion and talk about consequences, really get behind them and really understand what drove that behavior, what drove their choices. You'd be surprised what goes on in that mind and why they do that. And you just have that deeper conversation, and although there's some consequence, you're also building that relationship for later on.
All right, Desiree, it is always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we are going to share all of Desiree's tips on bloomtampabay.com. And before we go to break, it is time for today's Bloom trivia question. And we have a little teen trivia for you. What was the name of the first Disney princess? Snow White, Cinderella, or Sleeping Beauty? We'll have the answer later on Bloom.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Phoenix House, Florida.
Welcome back to Bloom. There's a place in Tampa Bay that provides compassionate substance use treatment and care to help patients so they can build the foundation needed for a healthy, happy, drug-free future. Here to share more about Phoenix House, Florida's substance use treatment in Tampa Bay is their Director of Clinical Services, Maria Romanchak. Maria, welcome to Bloom.
Thank you so much for having me.
So talk to me about Phoenix House, Florida, and what it offers to patients in need.
So Phoenix House, Florida is known as the gold treatment of standard for treatment in Florida. So we offer both outpatient and residential treatment for mental health and substance use disorder.
And then also, how critical are the services that Phoenix House, Florida provides? I mean, is it something really needed?
So in 2021, it was reported that 61 million individuals aged 12 and over reported using an illicit substance that past year. So the critical need is evident.
So if someone in your family or somebody that you love is having substance use issues, what can we do to help?
To support an individual that you love, I would first learn about substance use disorder. I would then learn about the addiction that they are going through. And then I would seek help for yourself for individual and family treatment. I would find a professional for your individual so that they can get the needed treatment.
I've had the privilege of talking to people who have gone through the Phoenix House, Florida program. And the one thing that really stood out to them is how compassionate everyone is and how you feel like you have a constant support system there for you at all times.
Absolutely. So the best thing that I would say in order to support your individual or support anybody going through addiction is to be able to learn about it and to be able to assist yourself through that process. There are support groups out there, and if you ever need any other additional support, please reach out to us.
Now, is this something that happens inpatient, outpatients? How do the programs work?
So we have an admissions department. They would contact our admissions department. We could do an assessment and find out if you're interested in outpatient or residential treatment.
So there could be be something that you could go with your loved one and just kind of find out information and meet with somebody one-on-one?
Absolutely.
All right, and how can we support Phoenix House Florida and its mission?
So in order to support us and our mission, please, we are just looking for the community to be compassionate with each other. So our mission and our passion is to help each individual become the best version of themselves, and that is something the community can assist with as well.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time to come on Bloom and tell us all about it. I mean, all I've heard is glowing reviews, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, for more information about Phoenix House Florida, their mission and services, visit phoenixfl.org. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Phoenix House Florida.
Welcome back to Bloom. If you haven't checked out our digital series, The Bloom Health Club, now is the perfect time to watch and listen to our incredible experts. Dr. Romy Mushtaq, a trailblazer in neurology, joined us on our podcast and shared her inspiration behind her book, The Busy Brain Cure, and why she has made it her life's mission to help others heal themselves.
Chronic stress can lead to disease, and it can kill you, and it almost killed me. And I'm a brain doctor, and I should have known better. And in 2010, what I thought was just run-of-the-mill acid reflux from chronic stress, turns out I have achalasia. And by the time it was diagnosed, I was so sleep-deprived, so stressed all the time, so wired and tired and running on all cylinders. I had precancerous lesions and ended up in life-saving surgery. Wow. Because I remember just laying in the hospital bed thinking, oh my God, nothing I've learned in medical school is going to help me now. And it was because one of my aunties handed me a cassette tape that had meditation on it. And I was like, what is this on this cassette tape? And I started to do it. And my post-operative chest pain, I didn't need the narcotic pain medications. I started to feel better. But you know that dark and lonely place I was telling you both about? It started to alleviate. And I was like, there's something out there that they aren't teaching in U.S. medical schools and in training. And it sent me on a global journey of initially what I thought was to heal myself. And now realizing, wait, there's other people that have symptoms. I feel like over the last 10 years, I went through my mess so I could help everyone heal theirs.
Yeah. To hear more about Dr. Romy's science-based approach to healing your busy brain through an 8-week plan, check out our Bloom Health Club on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. All right, it's time now for today's Bloom trivia question. What was the name of the first Disney princess? Snow White, Cinderella, or Sleeping Beauty? The answer is Snow White. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out in 1937, debuting the very first Disney princess with Snow White herself. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We're exploring things to try in 2024. Meet a family living at sea for an entire year. We're catching up with them to find out how they made this adventure possible. And we're following the new fitness trend of making workouts fun. So get your hips ready for a little hula hoop fitness class. Stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by Premier Community Healthcare Group and Phoenix House Florida.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.